That's fine. Okay, I started recording now. All right.
Oh, no.
So the first step is when your brain releases the FSH hormone. So that's your follicle stimulating hormone, and it releases it into the bloodstream, and it gets them down to the ovaries, which is part of that process of signaling the start of the menstrual cycle. So that was hard. Definitely hard.
Was.
Okay, our next one. Which of the following is not a part of menstruation? So the egg is released from the follicle, progesterone levels in the body decrease, the endometrium begins to break down and shed, and the unfertilized egg is shed. Okay. All right, good job there. So the egg is released from the follicle. So that's actually one of the beginning steps of just the menstrual cycle itself. So you're referring to just menstruation, which is part of that, a lady's time of the month or their period. And so the egg, when it's released from the follicle, that's one of those beginning steps where that is still in the ovaries, and then it has to be sent through the reproductive system through the fallopian tubes to get into the uterus area where it'll attached to that, the uterine wall there. All right, Green Wildcat in the lead. Okay, true or false? Positive feedback is a body's response to a change in the same direction of that change. Awesome, good job. So yeah, so negative feedback is where it reacts in the opposite direction. So an example of the negative feedback is, say, like your blood levels, where if you ingest something that's high in sugar, or you have just in general high sugar glucose levels, then your body will try to lower that. So it's going to be reacting the opposite direction. Okay. All right. I think we have one question left. So which culture has a ceremony when a female first gets her period? So this one here is actually based on the video that was a part of the reading. It was 2 minutes of menstruation in different cultures, and so it was actually the Cree. They'll have a ceremony that that marks when the women first get their period. So it's very, very sacred. It's a very positive environment, which I think is one thing that's really awesome. The one thing I also really loved is that if you guys watch that video, is just like the positivity towards the like female periods, and a lot of females are very self-conscious about their periods and menstruation just in general. And so I kind of love that they were trying to bring about that little bit of a stigma, and saying that this is a normal part. It's a part of human nature to go through this, so why should you be ashamed of that? So I love that video. It was only 2 minutes long, but it was really great. And so one thing that's I guess if I could say just this lesson in general, just being talking about the menstrual cycle, is it's, some people might be like, say maybe Zomber, you're like, well, I'm a guy, I'm never gonna have to have my period, so why do I have to learn this? But I would say part of it is it's just an awareness and an appreciation for the female body. I think through this whole unit, we have also just basically seen an appreciation for just bodies in general. We saw a little bit about a little bit more of the awareness of, say, how susceptible male bodies are to, say, genetic conditions. So in this sort of aspect, we're looking at just a little more of the female body, and when we're getting an awareness and an appreciation of bodies. Okay, well, let's see our podium. Green Wildcat. All right, I'm using Pelican. And on top, cow. Yay!
I hope I know the menstrual cycle at this point.
Well, that's good. That's good. I mean, oh, that's awesome. Yeah, no, it was good. I think this week is going to be a little bit hard for people because I know we're getting to some uncomfortable topics. I think we're moving on to. I think we have Yeah, human development. So we talk about birthing. So we're gonna be talking about that whole process of what happens. So I guess today we looked at what happens when an egg isn't fertilized. So tomorrow we're looking at what happens when an egg is fertilized and going through that birthing process. And then we look at contraceptives on Wednesday, and then you guys have an assignment on Thursday. So very exciting stuff. It is going to be some like some topics that we don't want to talk about. I think we are uncomfortable with talking about it, which is another part of that videos that I love, that it's like these are all natural parts of your body, and it's okay that these things happen, and you don't have to be afraid, or you don't have to be self-conscious about it, because it everyone goes through puberty and and some form of, sorry, my cat is knocking over my boxes. I have some recycling here. Okay. You can just go. every day it's this one was Bubbles this time. Usually you get to see Gracie. Sorry. But anyways, yeah, so this week is going to be interesting just because we have some uncomfortable topics, but there's nothing to be shy about.
It may also be why some of our numbers are lower this week, although they were lower last week too.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, but I said towards the end of the week, it kind of went up there. It was kind of interesting because that very first day we had 3 people, and then we had the next day was 3 different people. And I wonder if those 3 people dropped off because the other were, they thought that no one else was going to be there. So it's kind of interesting, like how our numbers change. So.
But no, if we went maybe even just